Oh. Mhm. Good morning, ma'am. Are you Angela Reyes?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Reyes is charged in cause number 26 DCCR 0264 with assault on a peace officer, 26 DCCR 0265 with the obstruction or retaliation, and 26 DCCR 0266 with assault on a peace officer. Those offense dates are all from December 22nd of 2025. It looks like the cases were indicted February 11th of 2026. And so, Ms. Reyes, let me just get everything straight first. Were you released on accusation when you first got arrested on these offenses?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the indictments came down and there were warrants and you went back into custody,
Yes,
correct? Do you, Mike can tell, but do you remember the date that you went back into custody?
I know it was Wednesday last week when they picked me up on a warrant from my
Okay.
house.
So was it? Okay. The 25th, February 25th.
Yes, ma'am.
This shows when these were executed. You were magistrated out at the jail that next morning, and it appears as though the magistrate set the bonds at $10,000 for the two assault on a peace officer charges and $8,000 on the obstruction charge. The district attorney's office has filed an Article 17 objection to that bond, asking that I increase the bond. Have you been arrested for anything? Well, let me do this first. Raise your right hand the best you can. You swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So from the date of these offenses in December 22nd of 2025, have you been arrested for anything else?
Since December?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
I have not.
Okay.
And this is my first big I've ever.
These are your first felonies?
Yes.
And Mr. Coleman, you're shaking your head. Do you agree that there's nothing in your file that shows that there's any felony criminal history?
I agree.
Okay. Um, let me do this real quick because typically this review is going to be it's a new type of thing, a law that has been handed down for the district attorney's office and the courts to review certain bonds that the magistrate set, but typically that is going to be when you're on bond for one felony and then another felony is alleged to have been committed, which we don't have here. And so let me take a quick look at the probable cause in these cases, and then I'll let you guys kind of know where I stand on it. And Ms. Reyes, have you ever had any type of mental health um, assessments or counseling, or are there any issues that go on that you have going on that you feel like you would need that?
I will say a year ago in February, I survived a suicide attempt. So I had to get hospitalized, and that's where they did evaluations and diagnosed me with depression. So I've been off my medicine because my insurance lapsed because I just had a baby in September, and I haven't been able to take it since. I started getting back on it whenever I went into custody. So they set me up on that.
If you make your bond as it's set now, or depending on what it is, where would you reside?
With my father and my two children at the 7515 North Major.
Okay. Well, that's where you were when they came to get you and arguing with your dad. Is that correct?
It was with my fiance. It was virtual.
Okay. you were arguing with your fiance, or your fiance was arguing with your dad, or who was arguing with who?
It was me and my fiance, and then my dad was the one who called the police.
Okay. Where would your fiance be living?
He lives there too. Also.
Okay, so here's where, at least while this is pending, there could be some issues. Well, Mr. Coleman, I guess based on where I've gone kind of so far with this, what is your position with regard to the motion that your office filed?
We'd simply just ask that the court give the motion.
Here's the shocking moment. Judge West refuses the state's request to raise Angela Reyes' bonds, emphasizing treatment over punishment while keeping public safety in mind. Watch how she balances mercy with authority.
Motion is due consideration, and certainly we defer to the discretion of the court.
Mr. Lewis?
Judge, well, I had conversations with Ms. Reyes' father, who was there and the one who called the police. And as far as a bond goes, my conversation with him was that even the amount that is set could be a stretch for them to try to make. And also, like I said, with some of the issues that she was already having, part of that was her not being able to have her medication because it was a financial issue. So, of course, we'll be asking that the bond remains as the same. But like I said, if they are able to make that bond, that would definitely be an amount that, would definitely ensure her return to court and, any public safety issues.
All right, then here's what I'm going to do. At this time, I'm not going to raise your bonds in your cases. I'm going to deny the state's motion to raise those bonds. I am going to make a condition of the bonds, if you make them, that you make appointment and go to the Spindletop Center for treatment, medication, assessment. They will work with you without insurance. And so it's going to be a condition of your bond that you do that. So you need to make sure if you make your bond that when you make that appointment, you get that appointment to Mr. Lewis and your bondsman so they know you're following through. So I know you're following through. And that's really just meant, if for me to order, it means that they should be able to help you more because it's court order. And so there's no reason for you not to go do that. And now if you don't do it, it'd be a violation of your bond. And obviously at that point, Mr. Coleman might have more to say than he did today. And we would have some concern about some of the same behavior, and I would have no choice but to raise those bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. You can go back with the bailiff.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Jeff.
The hearing concludes. Judge West sets clear conditions for Angela Reyes' release. She must follow through with mental health treatment or risk bond violation. A tense but carefully considered courtroom decision.